Hello students, this is Vijay Ushir. So today we have to start our second sem for the physical chemistry course, and in that physical chemistry course we have to study our first chapter, that is a phase equilibrium. So in that we will study first introduction. So what is phase equilibrium? So phase equilibrium is the study of equilibrium which exists between or within the different states of matter, namely solid, liquid or gaseous. Means phase means these are the different states, that is a phase may be solid, may be liquid or gas. So in the phase equilibrium we will study the equilibrium which exists between different states or with different states of a matter, that is a solid, liquid or gaseous state. And what is the meaning of equilibrium? And equilibrium is defined as the stage when chemical potential of any component present in the system is always steady with time. Means steady means constant. When the chemical potential, or we can say the Gibbs free energy of any component which is present in the system, means any system which we are studying, that the chemical potential of any component present in that system is always steady or constant with the time. So that thing is called as a equilibrium. So this is about the phase equilibrium. That is our first chapter, phase equilibrium. So many material systems, some alloys exist in more than one phases depending upon the conditions of temperature, pressure and composition. Means we know that if we consider the water system, so in the system of water, we know that water exists in three forms: ice, water and vapor. And if we consider the some examples of alloys, so if we consider the alloys, different alloys, then which exist in more than one phases, means it exists more than one phases. It may be solid, it may be liquid, it may be gaseous, and these are dependent on the conditions of temperature, pressure and composition. And each phase have different microstructure, means each phase have different microstructure related to the mechanical properties, and the development of this microstructure is studied in the phase diagram. So in the phase diagram we will study the development of microstructure, and this all information of characteristics of microstructure is provided by the phase rule. That is, that phase rule we have to study in this chapter. And before studying the phase rule, phase means we know that different phases, solid, liquid and gases, when they exist in equilibrium with each other, that phase equilibrium is studied with the help of a phase rule, and it is necessary to get familiar with some terminologies. So which are these terminologies? So we have to see some terminologies or some definitions while studying the phase rule. And first one in that is the system. So what is a system? A substance or a mixture of a substance which is isolated in some way from another substance or other substances. Means system is a substance or a mixture of a substances which is isolated, means which is separated in some way from other substances. And we want to study the effect of pressure, temperature and the characteristics property of other constituents of a system on physical states of a materials present. Means we want to study the effect of, what is the effect of temperature, pressure, the characteristics properties of other constituents which are present in that system on the physical states of material present. That physical state may be solid, may be liquid, may be gaseous. For example, by water system. So by water system we mean the chemical substance which is a chemical system in water system, that is a water, and which has been isolated from all other substances in the system. So this is the first terminology, that is the system. Second one, that is a phase, which is denoted by symbol capital P. So what is phase? The word phase is derived from Greek word meaning the appearance, means anything which appears, means if we consider solid phase, so its appearance is a solid, liquid phase liquid appearance, gaseous phase gas like appearance. So The word phase is derived from the Greek word. It meaning the appearance, and it is defined as the homogeneous part of a system. Means phase is nothing but the homogeneous. Homo means all the particles are same. That is homogeneous part of the system. That is a physically distinct. Means we can physically distinct. That is if one of the phase is solid, if one of the phase is liquid, and other is gaseous. Gaseous molecules we can't see by eyes, but we can differentiate. That is, one phase is a solid, one phase is a liquid, and other is a gaseous. And mechanically separable means mechanically we can separate from other parts of the system. So if we have a mixture of some sugar and water, we can isolate some solid sugar molecules from the water until it dissolves. If it is dissolved, a clear solution is formed. But if we frequently add the sugar into water, we can easily separate these sugar molecules from the water. That is, the phase is the homogeneous part of a system that is the physical distinct and mechanically separable from other parts of the system. Consider for the example of ice, water and water vapor. So in the ice, water and water vapor, we can separate the ice cubes from liquid water, and the gaseous is escaped in the atmosphere. So this is the second terminology, that is the phase, denoted by symbol capital P. So the system consists of three phases, that is in the example of ice, water and vapor, that is a ice, liquid and gas, that is a vapor. And to decide the number of phases in the given system, the following generations may be used. Means the following generations are used to define the number of phases. So first generation is that every solid in the system constitutes a separate phase. Means if we have given any system, so we have to consider every solid as a separate phase, and one liquid layer constitute one phase. If we have a mixture of two liquid solutions, two liquid layers, so one liquid layer constitutes one phase, and the liquid may be pure or may be a solution of one liquid into other. Means that liquid may be a pure or it may be a solution of a one liquid into other, and the two immiscible liquids in contact to form two phases as a definite surfaces separates the two. Means the two immiscible liquids also they form the two phases. Means two immiscible liquids they form two phases as a definite surface separates between two, because if the two liquids are immiscible, there is some surface which separates these two phases. And for the gases, what generalization is used? The gases are completely miscible. We know that we can't identify this is oxygen gas, this is carbon dioxide gas, because they all are miscible, and hence the mixture of several gases constitutes the single phase. Means any number of gases present in the system, we constitutes this as a single phase because the gases are completely miscible. So these are the three generalizations for three phases. That is, one is a solid, that each solid constitutes a single phase. Second one is a liquid, that is one liquid layer constitute one phase. If two liquids are immiscible, we have to consider as a separate phase. And for the gases, we know that gases are completely miscible, therefore it constitutes a single phase. So consider the following two systems, that is one is a calcium carbonate in solid phase, it gets converted into calcium oxide in solid plus carbon dioxide in gaseous phase. And second one is a mixture of Hg liquid, Hg that is a mercury in liquid form plus water liquid plus the Cl4 liquid. So this is a mixture of three liquids, and first one is the reaction of calcium carbonate. It undergoes decomposition to form calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, and the number of phases present in the first. So in the first, by applying these three generations, what we can say that each solid constitutes single phase, a one phase, separate phase. Means this calcium carbonate is a one phase, that is a one solid. So here one phase, calcium oxide is also another solid. Here one phase, that is one 2 and carbon dioxide in gaseous form is a one phase. Means here the number of phases are 1, 2 and 3. And in the second example, the mixture of Hg liquid, water liquid and CCl4. So the number of phases in first is 3, while that in the second example is 4. How these 4 phases are formed? Namely, the 3 immiscible liquids means mercury liquid, this is one phase, water liquid is second phase and CCl4 liquid is a third phase, and the vapor which exists is as a mixture of 3 components. Means the mixture of these 3 components forms the vapor, that is a gaseous form, and that is the fourth phase present in that example, that is a mercury liquid plus water liquid plus CCl4 liquid. So these are the two examples. From that examples we can find out the number of phases present by using 3 rules, that is for solid, for liquid and for gaseous. Third point is the third terminology is the component, which is denoted by a symbol capital C, and the component or the composition of all phases in the system can be completely described in terms of a component. Means whatever composition is present in all the phases which is described in terms of a components, which is denoted by a symbol capital C. So the composition of each phases may be described directly or indirectly in the form of algebraic equations. And alternatively, the number of components of a system can be defined as the minimum number of molecular species in terms of which the composition of all phases may be quantitatively expressed. Means what are the number of components? The minimum number of molecular species. These components are minimum number of molecular species in terms of which the composition of all phases, it may be solid, it may be liquid or gas, all phases may be quantitatively expressed. That is called as a components. For example, so if we consider ice, water and vapor system. So the above system consists of only one component. We know that it may be ice, it may be water, it may be water vapor. The component is only water, that is H2O. Therefore, this is the one component system. So we can say that this is the one component system, because from the definition we can say that the minimum number, because we have to give minimum number, that is minimum number of molecular species in which composition of all phases is quantitatively expressed. Means in the ice, water and water vapor system, the component is water, that is minimum only one component, that is water, and which can be used for quantitatively expressing the water system. This is the water system. So this is the component C. So if we consider the second example, that is a calcium carbonate in solid phase, it gets converted into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. So the system consists of 3 phases in state of equilibrium. We have studied this consists of 3 phases, and the number of components are 2, because the calcium carbonate in solid state and calcium oxide in solid state, this constitute a one component, and carbon dioxide in gaseous state constitute the another component. That is, the number of components are 2. And the third example is that the system that consists the saturated solution of a copper sulfate. So we may consider the following phases, that is if we consider the example of copper sulfate 5 hydrated molecule in solid phase, plus copper sulfate 4H2O, copper sulfate 3H2O, copper sulfate 2H2O and copper sulfate anhydrous, means no water molecule. The copper sulfate solution, ice, water vapor, the composition of all phases can be expressed in terms of 2 chemical substances, because here are only 2 chemical substances, that is one is a copper sulfate and other one is a water, namely copper sulfate and water. And the system is therefore 2 component system, because if the number of water molecules are changed, it doesn't affect the number of components. Only we have to consider the chemical species, that is one is a copper sulfate and other one is a water molecule. Therefore the system is a two component system. Next one is the degrees of a freedom, which is denoted by a symbol capital F. And the phase rule is concerned with the intensive properties of a system in state of equilibrium. Means the phase rule which we have to study is concerned with the intensive properties of a system in state of equilibrium. And these variables are independent. Intensive, there are two types of properties, intensive and extensive. And what is the meaning of intensive? They are independent of the quantity of the substances. Intensive means in that word we have to remind by intensive means independent of the quantity of the substance that makes up the system and its size. And the pressure, temperature, concentration, density, molar entropy, all are the intensive variables. Why these are intensive variables? Because they are independent of quantity of the substance. That is, the pressure is independent of quantity, temperature, concentration, density, molar entropy. They are all intrinsic properties. And the minimum number of variables that define, which must be fixed in order to define the remaining intensive variables of a system, is called as the degrees of a freedom of the system. So what is the degree of freedom? The minimum number of variables. The variable means it may be pressure, it may be temperature, it may be concentration. So the minimum number of variables define the which must be fixed, means we have to fix either pressure or temperature, minimum number, either pressure or temperature or concentration, in order to define remaining intensive. Means if we consider the pressure as a constant, we can define the effect of temperature and concentration. If we consider temperature as a constant, we can define the effect of pressure and concentration in the system is called as a degrees of freedom of the system. And the assignment of the degrees of the freedom will enable us to define the system at a equilibrium. Means the system with degrees of freedom, if the system having degree of freedom is 0, 1 or 2 or 3, they are called as a, if 0 is their degrees of freedom, we can say that the system is non-variant. If 1 is the degree of freedom, we can say that system is monovariant. Means mono means either pressure is changed or temperature is changed or concentration is changed. Bivariant or means two variables are changed, that is pressure, temperature, or temperature concentration, or pressure concentration. Maybe two, any of the two. And for the trivariant, any three of the chain, that is pressure, temperature and concentrations. So these are the types of a system, that is a monovariant, non-variant, bivariant and trivariant. So consider a system of water consisting of three phases in equilibrium with each other, that is ice, water and water vapor. So in a chemically reactive system, the number of components is given by. So if we have to calculate the number of components, how the number of components can be calculated? C is equal to N minus E. So what is the meaning of this N? N is the number of chemical species. And what is E? E is the number of independent equations which are relating the concentration of N species. So we can calculate the number of components from the formula, that is N minus E. Here N is the number of chemical species and E is the number of independent equations. And following examples are used to calculate the number of components. So we have to consider first example, that is a KCl, NaCl and water system. So if we consider KCl, NaCl and water system, here E is equal to 0 because their number of independent equation, here no independent equation is given, that is E is equal to 0. And what is N? N is the number of chemical species. So how many number of chemical species are there? KCl, that is 1, NaCl, that is a second, and water, that is a third. So the number of chemical species are 1, 2 and 3. Therefore N is equal to 3 and E is equal to 0. E means the number of independent equations. Means the equations here, no one equation is there. Therefore we can say that components, how the components can be calculated. C is equal to n minus E, n is equal to 3, E is equal to 0. Therefore 3 minus 0, that is a 3. Therefore we can say that this is a 3 component system, that is KCl, NaCl and water. So next example is the KCl, NaBr and water. So for the KCl, NaBr and water, so reaction is given, that is independent equation is given, that is KCl plus NaBr gives KBr plus NaCl. That is for this equation E, that is the number of independent equation is equal to 1, because this one equation is given in our example, therefore it constitutes the value of E as a 1. And the number of chemical species, how many number of chemical species are there? They are 5. And which are these 5? That is a KCl, NaBr, KBr and NaCl, and next one is the water. So there are 5 number of chemical species. Therefore, how the number of components can be calculated? C is equal to n minus E. N means number of chemical species are 5 minus E. E means number of independent equation. Only one equation is there. Therefore, 5 minus 1, that is a 4. So we can say that this is the 4 component system. And last example is third, that is a NH4Cl, NH3 and HCl system. So here are the two equations are given. Two independent equations are given, that is NH4Cl in solid state gets converted into ammonia plus HCl, and second independent equation is pressure of NH3 is equal to pressure of HCl. Therefore here are two independent equation, means their value of E is equal to 2, and the number of chemical species, that is N, is equal to how many? 3 chemical species, that is NH4Cl, that is the first, NH3, that is the second, and HCl, that is the third. Therefore the number of chemical species is equal to N is equal to 3, and the number of independent equation, that is E is equal to 2. Therefore 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. Therefore we can say that this is the one component system. Means in this way we can calculate the number of components, and we can say that which component system, that is 1 component, 2 component, 3 component, by using simple formula, that is a C is equal to N minus E. N means number of chemical species and E means number of independent equation. So thank you. Remaining part of that we will see in the next lecture. Thank you.